everyone, it's Ken with Ken's Creations. Well, today I want to come on the blog and show you a quick project I made to spice up my MacBook Pro. Um, for Christmas, I had really wanted a MacBook Pro and I'd been saving up for quite some time. And the reason I wanted it is I wanted the ability to design and craft on the go. I wanted to be able to watch TV and design. I wanted to be able to take my computer in silhouette to crops if I needed to. So having a MacBook Pro would solve all those problems for me. So I went out and bought a MacBook Pro right at Christmas time, and it came a few days later, and took it out of the box and it looked like this. And I love it. However, if you know anything about Apple, they design their products to look very sleek and clean and basic. So as beautiful as it wasn't me. I like things colorful, I like things personalized, so I knew I wanted to do something with it. So I started thinking about it, and it took me back to when I first got my Cameo. I fell in love with vinyl. I loved creating with it, I loved decorating my house with it, and I thought this was a perfect time to do something in vinyl. But what did I want to do? So I started thinking about it, and obviously, MacBook Pros brought to you by Apple, and Apple used to be ran by the late and great Steve Jobs. And one tidbit that a lot of people know actually is Steve Jobs was one of the main backers of Pixar when they first came on the scene. So as a tribute to that, I knew I wanted to incorporate Pixar into the design, which kind of connected to Apple. So then I chose my favorite Pixar movie, which is WALL-E. I absolutely love that movie. And just looking on the computer, it led me to this, which is a MacBook Pro cover. It is Eva, WALL-E, and where the light bulb would normally be, it is the apple. So when you open the MacBook Pro, the apple illuminates, so it looks like the apple is shining on both her and WALL-E. So I absolutely loved it. I ordered it. I got it in the mail a few days later, and I thought to myself, this is great. However, when I open my MacBook Pro and actually look at the part that I'm going to be seeing all the time, it's still pretty basic, which that leads us to today's project. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and do a vinyl cutout of this image. I've given you the link so you can go ahead and download this onto your desktop. You want to go ahead and right click, save image as, and you want to save this to your desktop. Once you've done that, go ahead and open your Silhouette Cameo Studio. And if mine looks a little different, I have updated my studio software to version 3. So might look a little different. Now, once you're in here, you can import your image two different ways, really. You can go up to File, and you can hit Import to My Library. It's going to bring up a dialog box where you would pick your picture, hit OK, and then basically enter your keywords and hit OK. And when you do that, it's going to save it in this folder that's called My Own Designs. So that's one way. Now once you can also just click and drag it, which is what I normally do because I probably won't use this design again. Once it's in the software, it's a pretty simple project. All we're going to do is we're going to hit the select trace area, and we're going to draw a cute little box around our happy couple. It's going to get these beautiful yellow lines, as you can see. And what I want to do is right now, if I was to trace, let me show you what it does. You're going to get a double line, which I don't want. So we're going to go ahead and instead of doing trace, we're going to turn our high pass filter off, which is going to turn everything else yellow. We're going to turn our scale all the way down to a 1, or as far as it will go, in this case a 4. Then we're going to hit trace. And there you can see it did a single line, which is what we want. Alright, now I don't want this box around it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select my image, right click, and I'm going to hit release compound path, and then I can select this outer edge and hit delete and it goes away. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw a box around it. I'm going to hit right click and make compound path, so that way it is all nice and grouped. So if I move it around, it's going to move together. Now I need to figure out what size I want this, and all I did was I measured the space in between my mouse click and the edge of the computer. So for example, if you look at an image of, well, I guess you don't really see it, but there's a little bit of a mouse pad, trackpad I think they call it, and the edge of the computer. So I want it to fit in there, which it's about 5 inches. So when I go back to my Silhouette Cameo, I'm going to select my guys. I'm going to come up here to the sizing window. I'm going to make sure my locked aspect ratio is on. And right now it's at 5.7, so I want to move that to about 5.5. Hit apply, and he's going to shrink down a little. At this point, we're going to go ahead and put black vinyl on our mat. And we're going to set up our cut settings. Our cut settings is right here. It looks like a little blade. We're going to select that. We want to make sure it doesn't say cut, no cut. You want it to either say cut edge or cut. And in this case, I want it to cut edge because it's going to cut all of these pieces. And we're going to lay the black vinyl onto our 12 by 12. And down here under material type is we need to make sure we select vinyl. And vinyl should be under, I think they put it under, let's see. Oh, it's all the way at the top, under my commonly used. So there's vinyl. We're going to select vinyl, and that is going to tell us to change our blade to a 2, which is very important because you want what's called a kiss cut, which is basically where it will cut through the vinyl but not the backing, which is what we want. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and load this into our machine. We're going to cut it, and it's going to cut all of the red lines. So obviously when we do this, we're going to want to make sure that we weed it and we get everything just how we need it. So for example, what I mean by that is if we look at this, if I showed you what this will look like when the vinyl is done, we would want Eva to be black, even though I know she's obviously normally white, but in this case we want her to be black. And then basically this inner part here, which is her face, that's going to be white. We're going to want that part to be black, or white, excuse me. So for example, when you're weeding this part right here, which is right here, which I can't unfortunately get to, would normally be white, okay? And then the same in here for Wally. We're going to go ahead and weed this little part here. We're going to weed this little part here. And then basically all of these tiny little things right here are going to get weeded. And then in between his wheels. Now once you've done this, you can go ahead and put your transfer paper on, rub it real good, make sure it's on there good, and then go ahead and peel it up, and you're ready to apply it to your computer. Make sure your computer is nice and clean. I went ahead and took some Windex, cleaned it, and let it dry for about a half an hour. And then once you are done, you will apply it to your computer, and you should have a cute finished product. So obviously mine doesn't say www.creativeken.blogspot.com. However, here is what I was saying, the mouse trackpad. There's the edge of the computer, and there is Wally and Eva. So as you can see here, this is where I went ahead and weeded out on Eva. That's the only part that you're going to weed out. And then on Wally, you're going to weed out this area here, and then all of these little dashes right there around his eyes, and then of course around his wheels. Alright guys, this was a very simple project. It probably took me 10 minutes to do. I absolutely loved how it turned out. So go out there, find either this one or one of your other favorite characters and make your computer your own. It's so easy to do. Alright, make sure you're following my blog so you can check out all the projects I'm making. You can find that blog at www.creativeken.blogspot.com. Make sure you're checking out all of my YouTube videos by subscribing now. Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And make sure you guys always come back. I love doing videos, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Alright guys, go out there and make something magical.